What's going on, guys? This is Danny from Slow Restoration, and today we're going to talk about Broncos and why you may not want to buy the first one that comes out, the Bronco Sport. Yes, I know Ford is talking about branding the Bronco kind of like the Ram, so it's going to be its own line. So you'll have the Bronco Sport, the full-size Bronco, and several more models as the years go on. And they did this before. They've talked about doing this before. They actually talked about doing this with the Mustang also. They had prototypes of a four-door Mustang, an electric Mustang, all that kind of stuff, and it's not a new concept for Ford anyway. So with that being said, the first model that's going to come out, the new Bronco, is going to be the Bronco Sport, and it appears that it's roughly based off the Ford Escape platform. And who wants a Ford Escape? Yes, there's a place for them, but no one that really wants to buy a Bronco is going to buy a Ford Escape rebadged as a Bronco. If you've been with the channel for just a little bit, you'll know I do actually own a Bronco. It's more of a trail rig, definitely not roadworthy. What you may not know is I actually know a lot about Broncos. I grew up around Broncos a lot, actually. The 66 to 77s, my dad, my brother, we all had a lot of them, did a lot of stuff with them, built quite a few. So I'm no stranger to a Bronco, and if you have to remember the last time, yes, new Bronco back then was the Bronco 2, the new big great thing, total flop. A lot of them ran around. How many do you see running around the roads now? I can't remember the last time I saw one, except for mine, which is a giant piece of junk. So yes, that was a long time ago, and obviously Ford has made everyone, Ford, Dodge, Chevy, they've all made drastic improvements over the years since the mid 80s to early 90s. Obviously in cars, there's much more tech in them. Motor, drivetrain, all that stuff has come a long ways. But again, do you really want a Ford Escape with different sheet metal on it? I don't. So if you're looking for a hardcore off-road, you definitely should wait and see how this one does and see what they release as far as the full-size Bronco. From the spy shots, it does look pretty good, and apparently they're going to reveal all of this on the 13th, July 13th, so we'll see what comes out then. But in the meantime, I can't see it. The first Bronco that comes out, like I said, is going to be, I don't think it's going to live up to a legendary Bronco nameplate. I really think it would have been much more beneficial to come out with the full-size Bronco, the off-road capable Bronco first, and then go down to the mid-size or the small Escape Bronco, if you will. If they come out with the Raptor Bronco, which I have seen some prototypes, it should be pretty cool. My only complaint with that is, yes, I know the EcoBoost runs good. They make good power. They're relatively good as far as durability now. They've come a long ways with those two, but they still sound like a V6. The Bronco Raptor could be very cool. It's definitely going to have an Ecotech in it, obviously. But I really think Ford may have messed up by coming out with the small economy Bronco, the Bronco Sport first. I really think they should have came out with the better, more off-road capable Bronco, full size, and then stepped down and then maybe stepped up. So if they came out with the middle of the road first, stepped down to a more affordable Sport, and maybe stepped up to the Bronco Raptor, that would have been really cool, as long as it was off-road capable. So I don't know, maybe they'll surprise us. I guess we'll know on the 13th when more details come out, and yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see. But getting back to the Bronco 2, let's take a look at it. All right, we're sitting inside of it, and obviously it looks very dated. It's very dirty. Like I said, this is a trail rig, so it's got mud splatter all over the interior, but it looks like pretty much every 80s vehicle, especially Ford truck vehicle out there. Here's the biggest problem. It doesn't run. I'm always fighting problems with this thing, and these things didn't run good when they were new. It's just the way they were. So here's the exterior of it, and as you can see, the hood's open. It's always open. Like I said, this thing is, well, sadly, it's just a piece of junk. This has the 2.9 motor in it, and they put these in the Ranger, the Bronco 2, and I think the minivan of that time period, and they were horrible. So obviously this one's customized quite a bit. It does have a 4-link in the back with airbags and stuff, but that all aside, they were small enough to be cool. Sadly enough, they just weren't cool. They I mean, you can do this kind of stuff to them now because they are cheap. They rusted bad. That's always been an issue with Bronco. The 66 to 77 Bronco, which we will get to that in a second, they were horrible for rust. They rusted almost immediately. All right, we're back inside. Enough of that. And why are we focusing so much on like older Broncos? Well, it's the Bronco heritage, and we should tend to learn from history and what Ford has brought us. The original Bronco was very cool, very off-road capable. Durability, they rusted a lot. Like I said, they rusted very quickly. And my plan was to jump in the Bronco 2, which is sitting out there, and drive down. We have another, I think it's a 72 Bronco for an example. We will get to it, but my plan was to drive the Bronco 2 down to it, but it doesn't run. Because I would like to sit the Bronco 2 beside the old Bronco, the original Bronco. Again, everyone talks about the Bronco generation, so you have 66 to 77. 78, 79 was the full size, looked like the Ford F-150 Bronco. Again, they were cool. They did rust some. Motors weren't, they were all right. They had the big motors, so the 351M, the 400M. I guess you could probably get the 302 in them, but 351 Windsor. That was kind of another issue with them, is they had too many choices. Nothing was interchangeable. They were cool Broncos, so 2-year only, 78, 79, and then they went to the 80. So 80 to I think 86 was again based off the Ford F-150. Based off the F-150, and since 1977 they were all based off the F-150 platform. So like kind of front end, from the doors forward, they were pretty much F-150. And then 66, 77 first gen, 78, 79 second gen, 80 to 86, I think they consider third gen, I think we're up to, and fourth gen was until the end, which was 96, I think. They were really pretty much the same vehicle. They did switch over at some point to fuel injection, and they updated when they did the refresh on the F-150. They carried that over onto the Bronco, and obviously the Bronco everyone remembers, the newer Bronco everyone remembers, is the O.J. Simpson white Ford Bronco. Ford Bronco Sport, which to me is a Bronco 2-ish. No one talks about the Bronco 2, like I said, for good reason. They weren't good. So learning from history, I feel like it's not going to be a good vehicle. I think it's going to be a Ford Escape rebadged. Who wants it? July 13th, on the 13th of this month. If you're watching this video after that, maybe I got proved a liar. Maybe that new Bronco Sport is a really cool off-road capable. I don't know, prove me wrong, Ford. I'd love to see it, but I don't think so. All right, so obviously this thing is very rough. It's been sitting here for quite a while. We'll have to do something with that to even get into the hood. It's got moss growing all over it, but it is an original old Bronco. This was a Bronco Sport. Back then it was a package that went on, so it has the trim around the windshield, the side glass, and the back glass. It's got the trim, even though you can't hardly see that, that's shiny trim around the drip edge of the top. So this is an example, even though it is rough, of the original Bronco. Very capable vehicle. This one again is in rough shape, restorable because they make everything. You can build a whole new tub for these things now, and this is still there. You know, it's got a big hole in the floor and literally a floorboard piece of wood. This isn't mine, but I think we can probably get a hold of this and maybe do some stuff. When it was parked here, it ran, so it drove to this spot. I'm pretty confident we can make it run again. It's got a 302 in it. It obviously has some issues that we need to overcome. I'm sure the gas, it's been sitting here for years, so the gas is destroyed. Hopefully the gas tank's savable. If not, we'll have to put a fuel tank in somewhere to get it running. But as long as this motor spins over, I'm confident it will run. So why am I showing you this when we're talking about a brand new Bronco? Because this is an example of the original Bronco. This thing was extremely off-road capable for its time. Again, it did have issues. These all had issues. They rust bad. They rust everywhere. Doorposts always rot out and sag. You open the door and they fall down. This one's completely gone. But again, you can rebuild all this, and that may be a goal for this one. I believe the frame and running gear is good. It's a 302, nothing really special. I think this one actually has power, not power, so manual drum brakes, manual steering, everything's manual. The only thing this one does has, which was an option in the later years, was power electric wipers. So when these things first came out, they actually had vacuum wipers, which were horrible. So that's going to be one of my goals, I think, is to try and see if we can get this thing up and running. See if we can acquire this at least to do this stuff too. It shouldn't be a problem. And bring the Bronco 2 down here, compare it side by side, size difference, stuff like that. And honestly, it would be nice to make this thing running and driving again, even though it's in its rough shape. Just clean it up, leave it as is, make it run and drive, and maybe compare this, because it's still in stock form. The fenders were cut, it's got fender flares on it, but it's still in stock form. So nothing's been done to the suspension, the drivetrain, all that is 100% stock. So maybe if we can get this running and driving, we can actually find someone with a brand new Bronco when they come out and compare the two side by side and off-roading. The new Broncos will be much more high-tech inside, obviously, than this. If we look in here, we have a speedometer with some gauges, some simple instruments, simple controls, and actually I believe that is just an AM radio, and that's pretty much all you get for tech. I believe that is the only speaker in it too. So yeah, these things were very utilitarian. Back inside the shop here today, we do have air conditioning. It's very hot outside and humid, and I did, walking around that Bronco, I picked a tick off me, so definitely watch it. Let me know if you guys, I'm sure you would, or at least some of you would, like to see that Bronco get drug out, see if we can get it running. Like I said, if the motor spins over, I have confidence it'll run. It's just how much will we have to do to it to make it run. If the carburetor's froze up and stuff like that, that could slow us down a little bit, but I think it'll run. It's been covered up, motor's been covered up, so it should be good. We'll get that thing drug out and see. So with all my rambling here, what am I trying to say? The new Bronco, will it sell? Yes, it's going to sell because it's a new product. People have been asking for a Bronco for a long time. Will it sell as good as they hope? We'll have to see. And again, it's, in my opinion, Ford made a major mistake by not coming out with that middle of the road Bronco first. That seems like a better idea to me. Come out with the middle of the road and then go down and up to kind of fill those gaps. People that can't afford that one can buy a cheaper one. People that want something better, more off-road capable, could step up. But anyway, that's their decision, and I usually don't agree with what Ford does anyway. So the original 66 to 77 Bronco, good vehicle. Had issues. They did rust. It was back in the time where kind of economy was a must. They were cheap to buy and they were very off-road capable. Made them a very good vehicle. Cheap, off-road capable is good. The next Bronco, the full size, not as good. They weren't as good off-road. It is what it is. And then as they went up in the years, especially when they kind of detoured off with the Bronco 2. That was horrible. And then when they kept going with the full-size Bronco, they got less and less off-road capable as they went. Let's hope these new ones are off-road capable. Again, I don't think they're going to be. So, well, that's my 2 cents on the Bronco. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good day.